Okay, I'm gonna preface this with something. I already recorded 80% of this video, not realizing that my mic was muted. So, I'm a little mad. If I come off as unnaturally rude or disrespectful, I'm gonna apologize preemptively. Anyways, this is a recent debunk of generally the boys' feats that people use to scale Homelander, which I found um just like blatantly wrong at times, but also really funny. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna start where they start. We're gonna start with probably the most common meta of scaling Homelander, the statement of him being able to level cities, right? This is a statement from like the art book or something from Eric Kripke that says he can level a city within minutes, right? This is a calc of that statement, just referencing the versus Battle Wiki reference destroying New York City calc and then providing an overtime tax, which is fair. Personally, when I calculate this feat, I just use vaporization of New York City, which gets to like mountain to city instead of mountain to small city. Anyway, let's look at their debug, right? The calculation uses the formula of a nuclear bomb calculation in versus Battle Wiki with the area of New York City. This is extremely ratty, as measuring the area would not be enough to get a good value. What are you talking about? With the statement blatantly saying that he can level cities and the boys in almost its entirety taking place in New York City, what else do you want me to do? Like, as a calcer, what else do you want me to do? What other city do you want me to take? Fucking Miami? No, I'm gonna take the area of New York. I'm gonna take the diameter of New York City. Like, what are you talking about? It boldly assumes that he could destroy New York City or New York. Yeah, New York City entirely, as he uses the entire area of New York City. Again, refer back to what I just said. The statement is the statement says he can level cities. The series takes place in New York City. I'm gonna take New York City as the reference. Anyways, it also makes the assumption that you could do this in under 2 minutes. Slight nitpicking, but it's exactly 2 minutes, not under 2 minutes. A couple of minutes can literally be like 4 to 6 minutes. If we're gonna get into semantics, what does it exactly say? Level a city within minutes. Okay, so it doesn't even actually say a couple or a few. But like most reasonably, I think you would give ends of like 2, 5, and 10 minutes, which is what I do to get it to mountain to city. Um, this would just be like a high end version, which is fine. Now again, Homelander has no way of directly scaling to this physically, as it could only account for his destruction with his abilities, such as his laser vision. Um, this is, I mean, honestly, this is just kind of stupid. There are characters in The Boys that Homelander physically scales to that scale to his laser vision. That probably sounded convoluted, but like, there are characters that Homelander lasers, and those characters can very easily tank that, and then Homelander can physically contend them. Which means Homelander physically scales to his laser output. It doesn't matter, really, how he's outputting this energy. As long as he is outputting this energy, he scales to it. Whether it's with his laser vision or with his what else do you say? Flight? Yeah, flight. That it doesn't matter. Actually, if he's destroying it through flight, that's even worse for you, because that means he is doing it physically. If he's doing it through flight, that means he's like flying. I presume your vision is like him flying through and destroying all of the city. Obviously, if he's like flying into shit, that's physical. I have no idea how this functions as a contention. And then like the next part of this is really weird because it differentiates between AP and DC, which is correct. And then starts talking about Homelander, quote unquote, barely being able to destroy walls as like a debunk to this. What the fuck? Are you talking about? First of all, this this is just blatantly wrong. He's not barely able to destroy walls. He's very easily destroying walls. But even if he was, that wouldn't matter. Him only destroying walls within the Herogasm fight is just the framing of the fight. It doesn't do anything to debunk him being able to level cities. Again, you're going to hear me say this a lot. What do you even think that you're talking about? Let's just move on to probably now the most common speed meta for the boys, which is Homelander flying the rich dude into space. Right? Funnily enough, I was skimming through this initially. These values are not in Mach. They're in kilometers per second. They're like about 3 times higher than what is presented here. This high end is actually massively hypersonic plus, not massively hypersonic. It's just the dude who calculated this did Mach instead of kilometers per second, which is weird. When he's literally taking a kilometer value and dividing it by seconds. But anyways, their debunk is just taking like the Carmen line and recalculating the feat, which I think usage of the Carmen line for this is fine. But this, I mean, it doesn't actually do anything to debunk usage of the exosphere. The exosphere is literally defined as the area of the Earth's atmosphere which starts becoming quote-unquote outer space. So that's under that definition, that's a fine end to use. The Carmen line is good as a low end, but the 600 to 1,000 kilometer values work as like mid to high ends. Moving on to this. This is gonna be fun because it is exactly what I use to scale the boys. We're gonna use Versus Battle Wiki's formula. This is A-Train viewing everything in slow motion when he's saving Huey from Homelander's laser blast, right? I'm gonna start by saying that this calc isn't good. This is not my calc. This is some other dude's. But yeah, this is just like, I mean, I agree with him saying that 0.26 centimeters is wrong because that's blatantly not it. The biggest problem is that like 2 seconds before this frame, he is actively viewing muzzle flash as frozen, which is light. It's light speed. It's light. Like he's viewing light as frozen. It does get into MFTO plus. It gets to like 4,000 C, I think. But yeah, like this. Looking at their debunk, this is actually the last part is the funniest. If Homelander's lasers traveled at literal snail speed relative to a normal human viewer, Huey could have stepped away before the scene even finished. Are you fucking stupid? The scene is not taken from a normal human viewpoint. This is emulating what A-Train is seeing. This is showing us, hey, A-Train is moving so fast that the entirety of the world around him looks frozen, including Homelander's lasers. Homelander's lasers are actually like moving a little bit. They're not entirely frozen, but he is using literal bullets and, as I said, muzzle flash as frozen, which is light speed via being light. This feat perfectly works fine as speed meta for the boys. Like side note, like I said, the muzzle flash is frozen, but Homelander's lasers aren't, which I think is an interesting implication because it implies that Homelander's lasers are faster than light. So like you don't even really need to justify that Homelander's lasers are light or some other like wave or something that is light speed, because you can just directly compare it to other light. So like calcs of like Soldier Boy and Butcher reacting to Homelander's lasers are perfectly valid, regardless of whether you think that Homelander's lasers are light, because they are just blatantly light speed. They're blatantly faster than light, actually. This is another kind of common meta, but not really. This is Soldier Boy's fucking self-destruction, basically. This calc looks fine, right? Let's see what Tyrant 0.156 says about the scale, right? It uses two formulas to calculate the same explosion and got two different answers, 664 tons and 164 tons, which this already proves the math is bad. First off, W English. Second off, two formulas being used and getting different results does not mean that both are invalid. It means that one is invalid and you should figure out which one, right? This top one is the actual formula that Versus Battle Wiki uses for air blasts, right? This is what should be taken, which, funnily enough, is the higher end, right? This, I believe, when I looked for this formula, I believe it was just some other guy proposing a different energy blast feat, but, I mean, feeling the Versus Battle Wiki, that's not the formula that they use, so I don't really care. The rest of this debunk is just the, specific things within the second formula, which is, fine. Actually, not the rest. That's, the middle. The end, let's look at it, right? Soldier Boy is consistently weakened and fatigued by his blast, as shown in Herogasm and after he used it on Bomb Site, and etc. Nonetheless, this explosion logically gets the building level at max, as the yield is too small to be any higher, as it's the size of a literal building. First off, I believe my friend Slasher has a calc of this feat, arguing ionization of air, getting it to large town, plus almost small city, because it was 978 kilotons, which I would use because his blasts are radiative. They're radiation, right? They're ionizing the air around it. But Soldier Boy is consistently weakened and fatigued by his blast. This doesn't matter. Homelander, narratively, is above everything else in the boys. He is above every other soup. He's above all of their maximum energy outputs, which would include this feat. So it doesn't matter the methodization. It doesn't matter if Soldier Boy gets weakened by doing something like this. Homelander would still scale above it. This is hilarious. You people are so stupid. Funnily enough, this is very similar to the meta I use. This is calculating Homelander's statement of him being able to wipe New York off the map. Again, this is so ironic. You and Tyrant have no clue what you're talking about at all. So the fact that you open anything with "this is the worst calculation I've ever seen" is hilarious. But let's get to the actual debunk, right? Let's get to the substance. Let's start with the fact that it completely assumes that it's absolute pulverization. If we look at the statement Homelander gives, which this is at least somewhat close to it, if not exactly it, I might as well wipe New York off the fucking map.
Then, well, I think then, I'll just wipe New York off the fucking map.
Wipe off the map. Wipe out, wipe off. Contextually and definitionally, if you look up a definition for it, is total destruction. There is nothing left. I would go further than pulverization. I use vaporization for this feat. Because pulverization of an area this large is obviously pulverization, right, reduces the area to basically dust-sized particles. But this is a lot of area, so they would be very visible dust particles. With there being nothing visible left, I just use vaporization. Because then there would actually just be nothing left. Right? Anyways. Let's also mention how it falsely assumes it's the size of the entire state of New York. Again, the statement he gives is, I might as well wipe New York off the fucking map. Like, how is this a false assumption? I am going by what he says. It's like if I said I'm gonna go to Walmart and then person B uh rightfully like infers that I'm gonna be going to Walmart and then you come in and start talking about some false assumptions. This isn't even an assumption. This is just taking what he said. What are you talking about? Even like the rest of the statement, there's more to the statement. Right after he mentions that he could destroy Modesto and Des Moines in tandem with New York. Both of those get to like Large Island Plus, I think, or maybe just Large Island. I can't remember for sure. But you'll see at the end they're trying to debunk Homelander to building, which is insane. But even just that, like I don't even care about a large country to the like continental or whatever Homelander. That by itself should just get him to Large Island. Anyways, he then goes in to a Jules per CC debunk, which I hate going into this because this is part of the whole like low tier community's fucking superiority complex where they think they're better because they don't use Jules per CC because it is like quote unquote not scientifically valid when or like not scientifically really they're aiming for perfection, which is first of all nirvana fallacy. Second of all, the methods you people use aren't fully valid or not I shouldn't say fully valid. They're valid, but they aren't perfect ways to represent destruction like this either. There is no perfect way to represent destruction like this. The best that we can do is Jules per CC. The best that we can do is just take values like these and apply them to the area. There is really no better way to do this. But let's move on to this. Sorry, I have some really good fruit punch right next to me, but I don't even use this feat personally, but I mean, we can still talk about it because it is kind of funny. Um, this is an extremely hyperbolic statement. Not really. If it functioned like a standard black hole, would have possessed gravitational force so immensely powerful it would have sucked up the Earth. Just like from a narrative standpoint, right? You're the writer of the boys. You want to write, or you're actually no. Let's just extend this to like you're the writer of a fictional universe, and you want to write a character with black hole powers. Almost none of them, in almost none of them, the black hole like actually destroys a planet, or it actually has destructive capacity that would make sense given the size of it. The most immediate example I can think of is like Jujutsu Kaisen with Yuki's black hole. Part of that was like it's being suppressed, so it's not actually destroying everything, but its destructive output is not like the same as the what should be happening regarding the size of the black hole. It doesn't really matter. I mean like I don't care about this feat if I'm gonna be honest. I don't use it because I mean planetary Homelander is just not consistent at all. But this is not the way you would debunk it. Um also um this is just a weird and blatantly false statement to make. It sucks things up. That's why it's referenced to be a black hole. I'm like that that wouldn't exactly make sense as a reference if that wasn't what was going on, was it? Or would it? Whatever. um this is another instance of like I don't really fully agree with the calc, but they're not debunking it very well. The image he uploaded, I can't comment on that because, actually, no. I'm stupid. It's right here. Don't even correlate with the boy scaling. Uh, with what it seems like he's trying to do, it absolutely would correlate. Because he's arguing that, like, the extra weight is slowing him down, and then he's taking the actual feat and applying a multiplier. First off, I think, this is, like, really ratty. I don't think you should really take the radiation. I think you should just take the detonation velocity, which for C4 is like, I mean, I don't use this as a speed meta, so I might be wrong, but it's like 6,000 meters per second, something like that. But the weirdest part of this to me is saying that the feat would cap at supersonic and hypersonic due to the fact that explosion velocities are only a few times faster than sound. Let's look at the page, right? C4, solid explosive. Solid explosives often have a detonation velocity ranging beyond 4,000 meters per second up to 10,300. At a low end, he is moving faster than something that's like Mach 12. At worst, this is hypersonic plus. I'm not going to go and calc out the feat. I think there's a pretty good calc of it on Versus Battle Wiki that gets it to like Mach 18 or something, which works. That seems fine. Um, this can just be attributed to plot-induced stupidity. Doesn't it, like, who cares, man? Who cares if he says that he can't fly all the passengers down to Earth? It's just plot-induced stupidity. I don't know what else you want me to tell you, right? Um, this I haven't actually seen this calc before, but we'll still get into it. This is a calc for Homelander throwing a baseball into Boston, getting it to Class G. The distance used represents one moving in a triangular shape, which doesn't represent the arc the baseball had to take. Sure, I guess. I don't really care. The part that I care about is actually this part. Because it is just blatantly incorrect. For a community, this is what gets me, right? For a community that prides itself so much on, like, what is just most easily described as scientific perfection, for a community that prides themselves so much on that, you not knowing constant acceleration is hilarious. Because this is just a constant oh my god. You're pissing me off so much I can't talk. This is just the constant acceleration formula. And it's a very basic application of it too. This is exactly what you would do when given a distance and a velocity. Wikipedia isn't reliable. Shut up. Wikipedia gets their information from other sources. It's going to be consistent most of the time, and if it isn't, you would address it in a situation by situation basis. So recalculate, I'm not reading all that. Like, contact of time, dude, you're such a fucking geek, holy shit. Oh, I haven't used this feat, but I am aware of calcs of it. Anyways, let's just look at the debunk because I'm kind of familiar with the feat. I'm familiar enough that we can just look at this. Okay, so the creator literally used a formula for a boiling pot of water. Q equals M times C times change T. Remember, like, 30 seconds ago when I was talking about how it's so funny how the scientifically perfect community doesn't know basic formulas? And it kind of just, it kind of just spews information it learns from, like, actually kind of intelligent people. This is another instance of that. That's the specific heat formula. That's what you would use here. That is very applicable here. Like, what do you mean boiling a pot of water? Like, you could use it for that. That is an application of it. But it can be oh my god, again, you're pissing me off so much. it can be applied to other things, like a feat like this where he's heating up a shit ton of the sky. He's assuming the air absorbs 100% of the laser's heat like a solid wall. What? When in reality, air is transparent, meaning a laser beam passes right through it without losing its energy to the surrounding atmosphere. Again, what? Like what? What is this? What does this even address? Also, the creator of this thinks that the lasers traveled 7,000 kilometers because it was a country-level blast. Is this a straw man of doom? Let's find out. Using reverse image search, this photo is shot in a harbor of Gythio, Greece. The boys takes place in New York City. This is less, or this is about what? About 8,000 kilometers away. This is just angstizing. Like he's just taking the distance away and then angstizing. That's completely valid. What the fuck are you talking about? Once light leaves the Earth's thin atmosphere, it centers the empty Huh? A cheap $5 laser pointer will travel millions of kilometers throughout space because there's nothing out there to stop it. Plus, if Homelander generated 42 teratons of TNT of thermal energy, then that would equal 800,000 hydrogen bombs detonating at once, which would instantly burn the planet's atmosphere. Again, that's not something an author is going to be thinking about when creating a feat like this. This does not do anything to address the feat. Also, just like substantiate this in the first place. Substantiate that would burn the planet's atmosphere. And also, a cheap $5 laser pointer is not going to travel millions of kilometers throughout space. It's gonna lose power. That's kind of how that works. That's just like basic inverse square law type shit. Oh boy, another calc that I've never seen before. Homelander making a hole with his laser. Can I? Oh boy. Okay. I actually can open these links. Okay, fairs. I think it's all the same picture, so actually we'll just open one. Um. Yeah. Yeah. What? This works. This is a valid calc. What the fuck are you gonna say about it? Variety substantiated by joules per cc is invalid. No, you haven't. And the country level calc for Homelander is the joules per cc. Here is debunked. No, it isn't. Also, this calc presupposing the wall is a 67 centimeter block of solid concrete. And the thought tower, the walls are literally just normal standard walls. Do you like? Do you see what I'm talking about? Presupposing this is literally. Oh my god, this is what I was just talking about. With like 1% of this community is like actually has some form of intelligence, and the rest of them just spew words that they think sound smart, and they spew them incorrectly. In what world is pixel calcing and then taking the like this is what you guys do. I've seen calcs where you do this. Pixel scaling is under no circumstance of presupposition you don't know what that word means. Stop using it. Office walls are made of gypsum drywall and hollow spaces. I've already addressed the hollow space thing with the wall is actually that thick, but if it's made of drywall, sure. I don't know what the value is on that off the top of my head. I know it's lower than concrete, but I don't know how low. So the fee, I mean, it wouldn't be city block because that's barely city block in the first place. It would probably be like building. Wall is outrageous. Anyways, like, where are you pulling these calcs from? I've never seen anyone rep any of this. Homelander destroying the Pentagon. I'm not watching the video. I'm just gonna take it at face value. Background information, area, height, floor, side. I mean, at a glance, this looks valid. Let's see what you say. Another statement. Substantiate why that's a bad thing. Or not substantiate, sorry. Explain why you think that's a bad thing. Like, how does that address any part of this? Uses Jules. I'm not gonna get into the Jules Batista thing again. Stop arguing this as unusable when, because it's not technically applicable all the time. When every single formula you use does not work all of the time. You're trying to achieve perfection. There is no perfect formula for any of these feats. You're like throwing out nirvana fallacies the entire time that you're trying to debunk this. Just stop, please. Concerning context or whatever, this run at the start of the scale quite literally contradict. Oh, I actually should read it. Never mind. Considering that the context refers to a literal destruction and that the character possesses no other means to achieve it, the only possible way to execute such a feat would be through direct physical destruction, whether this be through his heat vision or kinetic impact. Thus, the statement implies a literal destruction of the structure. Okay. I mean, I would just say something similar to, what was it, the first calc? Where, I mean, you can posit different methods of him doing this all you want. It doesn't really do anything to actually debunk the feat. If he's doing it through laser vision, he physically scales to his laser vision. If he's doing it through flight, he physically scales to his flight. And if he's doing it through, just standard attacks, he scales to his own attacks, obviously. Anyway. Last and final debunk is going to be any more MFTL calcs. These are obviously not valid, as the narrative literally debunks it, and Homelander isn't capable of this speed. First of all, W circular logic. Second of all, how does the narrative debunk it? The narrative puts A train at MFTL plus so consistently. And then you can just scale Homelander to A train due to the most recent season. According to Eric Kirby, Soldier Boy's explosion can fry out the compound V out of Super's blood, which was calculated to be building level. It's large town. I'll throw the result of the calc in here somewhere in editing. I don't really care enough to throw the entire thing. If you want the entire thing, I'll probably put my Discord in the description. Just ask me. In season 5, Homelander was almost getting turned into mushroom by enriched uranium, which is used for creation of nuclear weapons. And if Homelander would be mountain level, he was supposed to take 0 damage from all of it. No. I mean, this can just be a chemical weakness. This is basically akin to saying that Superman wouldn't be universal or something because he's weak to kryptonite. It's the same thing like that. He's weak to a material chemically. That doesn't actually do anything to downscale his physical stats. Overall conclusion, Homelander is class K, building level, massively hypersonic. Homelander is probably class G. I haven't actually looked too much into that one calc, but it seemed valid. AP-wise, large country, plus actually off of being able to wipe out New York and MFTL plus scaling to A-Train. Actually, at worst, he's relativistic, scaling to people that can react to his lasers, which are FTL. Building level hacks. Sure. Put a funny image, bro. But yeah, that's it. Like I said, I'll either put my Discord in the description or in the comments. If you have contentions, don't throw them in the YouTube comments because I'm not going to type back a response. Just add my Discord. But yeah, actually, really quick, this doc was getting used as justification for Dexter being above Homelander. Which, like, I mean, I think they were giving him the boat explosion and giving him like a building level version of the boat explosion, which is, I mean, that's wrong too. But I'm not gonna get into Dexter scaling. But like, that would just mean that they're both building level, and then Homelander is way, like, lifting wise stronger and so much faster, even giving Dexter his high ends, which is like Supersonic Plus. I have no idea how you're arguing Dexter to win in that case, but I don't really care. Like I said, I'm not going to get into Dexter scaling. This was just to address the Homelander debunk. I'm not good at outros. That's the end of the video. Goodbye now.